Welcome to Her Love of Sports with your host, Katie Hamilton.
Welcome to Her Love of Sports, where we are highlighting professional women in the sports industry. I am very excited for this episode. We have a phenomenal athlete, and I'm just really thrilled to kind of dive into it and hear your whole story. So welcome, Alannah Yip, to Her Love of Sports. How are you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing really well today. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to have you on because we connected, I think it was right before the Tokyo Olympics, and you were training for that. So it's great to finally be able to connect and to hear, your whole journey.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to chat.
Yeah, so let's start. So you're from Vancouver, so you're local BC, just like we're shooting out of Victoria. How does one get into the sport of climbing?
Nowadays, the way that most people get into climbing, and same as how I got into it, is at the climbing gym. They're popping up all around now. Victoria has 3, 4, something like that now. And it's pretty popular for there to be kids classes or kids birthday parties. There are lots of adult classes as well, and it's a popular sport to do just for fun for adults as well. So I think a lot of people are getting introduced to the sport through the gym these days.
Yeah, we definitely do here in Victoria have a few. And I remember being as a kid, we would go for high school. We'd go, one of our other high schools actually has just a mini rock climbing area. So we would go there for gym class or whatever. And then there's one that just opened up out in Langford. And I obviously was just going just as a kid for gym class. And it was so much fun. I was like, wow, this is great. But to actually go and make it a career and go to the Olympics and all these championships, that's truly amazing. So when did your rock climbing journey begin? How old were you, and what was kind of the story of how you got started?
So I started when I was about 6 years old. I went climbing for the first time. It was some family friends that took me. Our parents went to UBC together. And they have 2 boys. One is 6 years older than me, and one is 8 years older than me. And they were like my older brothers / older cousins when I was growing up. I didn't have older siblings, or so they were my stand-in older siblings. I wanted to be just like them, and they joined a local youth climbing team, started going to world championship competitions, the youth world championships, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So when they took me for my first time, I really enjoyed it. I was not really a team sport kind of kid, so finding this individual sport was pretty special to me. Something that combined the physical and the mental. There's a lot of problem solving involved in climbing, and that really appealed to me. So eventually I joined the youth climbing team as well, and just went from there.
And here we are. Wow, that's great. And so when you first start, so of course, if I just went today, you have the strap, you have someone with you. How does that kind of start? Are you going on the higher ones? Do you go on, I don't know the right terminology, but the ones that you're free where there's no harness on you? What's that kind of like?
So there's 2, I think what you're referring to are the 2 main types of climbing that you see indoors. There's bouldering, which are bouldering shorter, and you don't use ropes, and you climb over top of big foam pads. So when you fall, you just roll back, and you're safe. They're only about up to 16, 18 feet tall, depending on where you go. And the other one is called sport climbing, or lead climbing, where you use a rope and you're secured with the rope to the wall, and there's somebody on the other end of the rope holding it. So you can start doing either one. It's a little bit easier to start with bouldering generally, because you don't need that other person on the other end of the rope. But you can start doing either one. In indoor climbing, the way you climb generally is they put up colored holds on the wall, and the color of holds tells you, like, you follow one color of holds. So you could have a really hard climb directly over top of a really easy climb. So you can really climb any wall at any difficulty. It just depends on what holds there are.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. So say, I don't know the colors, but if there's a green one, it might be more of maybe more handles or maybe bigger ones. And then if you do a blue or something, it might be a little bit more difficult and use that.
Yeah.
And one thing I find just so amazing is just this, it's like it's different strength from other sports. Like soccer was my sport, right? So we're not using our hands, we're not using our fingers, our grips, our arms. So what is that? What does training go into this when you're competing at a level like yourself? What kind of training do you do?
Yeah, climbing's a really interesting sport because it's truly full body. We have to train everything from our fingers, which we do by hanging off of usually these wooden small edges, and you hang on them for a certain length of time, or maybe with weight, or maybe with one arm.
Just for training? So you'll just go on there for training?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
To be able to gain figure strength.
Okay.
It's a really interesting, it's a different kind of training. You train tendon strength in your fingers, which is different than generally you train muscular strength. And tendon strength takes a lot longer to develop. So me having started when I was so young, it's really good because I have all of those years of experience of climbing, of developing that tendon strength. So I'm a lot less likely to get injured. If you are just starting, you have to be careful about pushing your level and how small of holds you're grabbing too quickly. And then, of course, I said it's very full body, and I meant it, I do a lot of work in the gym with general lifting. So from squats and different core exercises to pull-ups. My strength and conditioning coach always has something new for me to try.
Oh, that's great. And did you play any other sports growing up?
I tried a lot of sports. I was in soccer when I was a kid. And my mom likes to remind me that I didn't like running. So I didn't run. I just stood there on the field. Just refused.
You're like, no.
Yeah,
I'll climb everywhere. But running, draw the line.
Running was not for me. I played softball for a number of years, maybe like 12 years, from elementary to high school. I quite enjoyed. That was the only sort of team sport that I was really into. I played volleyball, did a couple of years on the school track team. What else did I do? I've skied since I could walk. I still ski a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you find any of those sports help, like for your for climbing or any? I mean, like you said, it's a full body sport that you're training. But do you find skiing or anything can contribute, or not necessarily?
I think with skiing, the thing that transfers is more the quick decision making and commitment to some lines or whatever you're doing. It's so more the mental aspect. For me, I'm not an amazing skier, but I think that's kind of where it translates.
Yeah, and like you said, this is an individual sport, so it's all on you. What is it like competing as one and going into it and knowing like my outcome is what I personally do in this competition or in this climb? And what's it also like when you're like, if you're bouldering, you don't have someone there catching you? What's all that kind of like, knowing that it's you that's doing it?
Personally, I prefer it that way. I know I am fully accountable and fully responsible for the outcome, relying on somebody else. And you always shoulder 100% of the blame for anything that went wrong. It's always something that you need to work on. So I like that part about it. It keeps you very accountable, keeps you honest. And the falling part about bouldering, you get really used to it. So I've just fallen so many times that I know whatever position I get myself into when I'm flying off the wall, I'm going to be able to land safely and I'm going to survive. So we fall a lot. Like when I'm training, you fall much more than you succeed. This morning I was training and I maybe succeeded 5 or 6 times, and I fell, I want to say like 25, 30 times.
So did you go to university? Yeah. So where did you go, and was it for climbing? Was there a rock climbing team?
No, there's not really, rock climbing teams don't really exist at university level. Well, maybe some places, but they're more just a recreational club. It's definitely not a varsity sport. Yeah, so after high school, I went directly to UBC for mechanical engineering. I thought that I needed to quit climbing to focus on school. That was kind of what I had seen in my life was either you're good enough at climbing to not go to school and pursue the World Cups in climbing, or you want to focus 100% on school and you need to do, to have be the best engineer that you can be, you need to focus only on engineering. So I didn't think I was good enough at climbing. And granted, at the time, I definitely wasn't good enough to pursue the World Cup circuit at 17. So I chose engineering and actually didn't climb for almost a full year.
Wow, you took a year off. You're
yeah.
miserable.
Yeah, it was
wow.
It was hard. I ended up not doing super well in school. My mental health was pretty trash.
Wow.
So I found my way back to climbing and things got better.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment that made you think this is the moment I need to get back climbing. I'm going to pursue this?
I don't think it was one specific moment, but a good friend of mine who we had been on the youth climbing team together, he was also in same program as me. We just slowly started to get back into climbing for fun after school. And then it was fun and it just snowballed, maybe one week we went once and then a month later we were going 2 to 3 times a week. And
then, so from when you took some time off, you took a year off, you came back, and then you went to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. And I believe you had a Canadian record time of 7.99 seconds, which sounds absolutely amazing. And it was your first Olympic Games, right?
It was the first Olympic Games for climbing.
For climbing. So how much time was it in between taking that time off, coming back, and then going and competing at the Olympics?
So my year off was kind of middle of 2012 to middle of 2013. I started competing on the World Cup circuit again in 2016. Not again, for the first time. And then I qualified for the Olympics in early 2020. And then about a week later, the world shut down, maybe about 8 years.
Wow. So even that's a short amount of time too. So even just to prepare yourself and then come out, set a Canadian record, be, like you said, the first Olympics to have climbing, like that's unreal. That's amazing. We're very inspiring and very proud. And yeah, that's great. What was it like training for it, going to Tokyo, going to the Olympics, knowing that this is such a big competition? You are a role model for so many people in the world. What was that experience like for you?
It was a bunch of weird contradictions. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so proud to have been able to represent my country and my sport for its first ever inclusion in the Games. but also being COVID times, it was kind of weird, kind of sad that my family and my partner couldn't be there to support me. And we didn't even really have, like, we had some spectators at our event, but it was pretty quiet, kind of eerie in a way. And one of the things that I really had wanted to do in my Olympic experience was get to walk in the opening ceremony. So in Vancouver 2010, I was 16 and lived in Vancouver, and I got to attend the opening ceremony. And that was one of the most powerful, inspiring, and transformative moments in my teenage years. I was just awestruck. I stood there for the entire maybe 2 hours and watched every country parade around BC Place, thinking of how proud they must be to do that. And I just wanted to do that myself one day, and we didn't get to because of COVID. So I do feel like I missed out on quite a lot of the classic Olympic experience that I really had wanted. But at the same time, I'm very proud to have been able to qualify and been able to go and compete and represent Canada.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting to hear and hear that side of the story, because like fans and supporters, we don't see that side, right? Unless we're a family member or a friend that's connected to, say, you, is we don't see that, or how difficult. I always wondered, what is it like for those athletes? This is your career, one of the most amazing things to participate in, and your family isn't able to be there. So to hear your story, it's super unfortunate that they weren't, but I'm sure, like, just so proud of you for being there. And almost, do you find like there was, like you said, there was mix of emotions, but something else you kind of had to overcome is not having that support right there with you in person while you're doing your climbs?
Yes and no. I had a really good team with me. So my coach who came to Tokyo had been my coach from the time I was 9 until Tokyo. So I've known him a long time. And then the male Canadian athlete, Sean McCall, that was there, he's the family friend that introduced me to climbing. So I've known him since the day I was born. So in terms of
amazing
support team, in that situation, I couldn't have asked for any better support team.
You had some good people there. Well, that's awesome that they were there. Yeah. And to be going through it together and to know them for so long, like, that's kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah, it was pretty cool for Sean and I to become Olympians together.
Wow. And is Sean from Vancouver as well then, if you grew up knowing each other? Yeah,
also from North Vancouver. We grew up, I don't know, 2-minute drive apart.
Wow. So yeah, so to be friends, to grow up, and then also just for Canadians to have 2 people from North Van competing in the Olympics and then at the same sport, that's pretty wild and amazing. Have they announced for the next Olympics, will there be climbing as well? Because I know some sports there will be. Oh, that's great. So is that kind of your focus, is to kind of prep and get ready for those Olympics?
Yeah, my goal is to qualify for the Paris Olympics. So they've changed the format a little bit. In Tokyo, there was just 1 medal, and there are 3 disciplines of sport climbing. There's the speed climbing, which is the one I set the Canadian record in. There's bouldering. So I said earlier, that's the one without ropes, you fall onto mats. And then lead climbing is the last one, where it's a tall wall, like 60 feet tall, and you have a rope. So last Olympics, all 3 were combined into a single medal event. We basically did 3 entire competitions in one day, and then they combined the results of those to find the winner. And this year, speed climbing is quite a different type of sport than lead climbing and bouldering, because it's a race. It's more, say, traditional sport, whereas lead climbing and bouldering they're more similar to each other. They're very problem-solving based. Every climb in each round of the competition is brand new, and the challenge is to figure it out and climb it in an allotted period of time. So they've combined just those two, lead climbing and bouldering, into one event, and that's the event that I am trying to qualify for Paris.
Oh, wow, amazing. So will they still, so they'll have that event and then they'll have another different climbing event? So some
The
people
speed climbing will be separate, yeah.
Speed climbing will be separate. Can some people, athletes, do both, and some athletes could just pick which category?
Yeah, you have to qualify.
Qualify.
For each one separately. But you could qualify for both. It's pretty unlikely, though, to be world class in both. It would be like somebody is world class in the 60-meter hurdles or 100-meter hurdles or whatever, and like a marathon. They're
right.
very different.
Right. So you'll pick your specialty and focus on that one, try to qualify through that one. Yeah. That completely makes sense. Well, that's very exciting. I'm excited to watch your journey and cheer you on. Okay, couple questions to kind of finish it off. What do you like to do in your spare time? If you're like, okay, I got a day off or I got a little bit of time, don't have to go to the gym quite yet, what's kind of something you like to do?
It depends. If I need full exercise rest, like my body's tired, then I like to read. I like to go visit family. Both my grandmas are still in Vancouver, so I like to go visit them at least once a week. Sometimes I'm really into baking and cooking, and then other times I'm just really not.
Okay. Depends on the mood. Depends on the day.
Yeah, depends on the day. And otherwise, if it's really nice out like it is today, I like to go hike or bike ride or ski, something outside.
I love it. And did you have any athletes that you looked up to when you were growing up or even now?
A lot, I guess. For me, there were athletes that I looked up to. There were sort of like two different categories. There were ones that I thought were, wow, like amazing athletes, but I never thought that I could be as good as them, or they weren't as, it was inspiring, but in a different sort of way, because I didn't see myself in them. So I guess growing up, I really liked to watch, like I always thought that Clara Hughes was amazing, but her being in such a different sport or different sports, I never really saw myself in that. But I had a lot of women around me that I looked up to. So two of my coaches, Stacy and Vicky Weldon, they were more tangible people that I looked up to. I thought they were amazing and really strong, powerful women, really driven, dedicated, and I wanted to be climbers like them when I grew up.
Wow, I love that. That's amazing. And Alannah, you are just so inspiring, and especially in a sport that might not be as seen on TV or something like that. It's so phenomenal to see someone who's killing it in the sport, hearing their story, and knowing for young kids and people everywhere that look at Alannah and what she's accomplished. You know what I mean? To kind of finish it off, do you have any advice for young kids, young girls that are either interested in climbing or that are like really interested and are like, that's who I want to be like when I grow up? Do you have any advice for them on their climbing career?
Never lose the fun of it. I think keep it really close why you love to climb. I think that's been a really important driving force for me. And it's really important because it's a sport. At the end of the day, it's not changing the world. So you need to do it because you love it and it's making you happy.
Absolutely amazing. Alannah, thank you so much for coming on Her Love of Sports. It's amazing hearing your story. And for me and for everyone listening to Her Love of Sports episode, we're going to follow along your career. We're going to cheer you on to qualify for the Paris Olympics. And again, just so inspiring, such a role model for others. And thank you for explaining all the different climbing technique, just everything about climbing. It's amazing. Makes me want to go jump out there and find somewhere to practice. Get my workout on.
Fantastic sport.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much, Alannah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
To catch all the latest, make sure to follow us on social at Her Love of Sports and check out herloveofsports.com.